This is Too Human. We're here on Xbox Series S. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this was supposed to be the first part in a trilogy of games that never happened. And honestly, the experience behind these games is just so utterly fascinating, and I'm going to be kind of going over that today and talking about the game in general and giving you context of it. So yeah, liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well. So here on the Series S, this game is free. It's entirely free because it's illegal for them to actually sell the game. So this was originally, I guess, at some point supposed to be a PlayStation experience, and then it kind of vanished, and then it came back as a deal with Xbox, and it was supposed to be a trilogy of games that obviously never happened because there's only Too Human 1, right? And this is from Silicon Knights. So yeah, let's dive in and talk about this. Well, first let's talk about the technical elements. So it's sub 720p, 30 FPS. And yeah, it's kind of like it's a Norse mythology cybernetic future game. When it was first shown, way back in the day, it was supposed to be like a cyberpunk kind of game. And then at some point, they switched over to doing like a Norse mythology kind of vibe, which is kind of cool, honestly. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like it would have been cooler if this was Norse, or if this wasn't Norse, but was instead actually like a cyberpunk type world. And yeah, it's just like it's utterly fascinating, the whole story behind this game, what happened to this game. And like I said, it's completely free because they literally legally cannot sell it. And then I guess Microsoft was like, you know what? We paid all this money for this game back in the day. We might as well make it available to people backwards compatibility wise. And yeah, that's kind of what we have. So you can play it alone, but you can also play it with others in like co-op. I think the servers still function, but like it's, I don't know, kind of a little buggy for connecting with people. But yeah, it's a neat game. So okay, so what happened here is that Silicon Knights developed this game, and they were a Canadian studio, and they were having issues with the development. So they were like, so essentially back in the day, Epic was working on Unreal Engine 3 at the time. So Unreal Engine 3 was supposed to be this big game development thing that made it easier to make games, like to make games faster. And Silicon Knights decided to sue Epic because they felt that their game wasn't hitting its full potential because there were so many delays in the pipeline of actually getting this this game like out the door. So the issue that they said was that essentially Epic was missing deadlines and stuff like that in order to work on their own projects. And I guess there actually was, to a degree, a little bit of truth to this, in the sense that, like, there were some documents and stuff, I guess, actually presented to the court, where, I'm trying to, like, jump on this thing and get this thing killed. I guess they actually were pulling people off of, like, engine development in order to work on Gears of War 1 back in the day. So there was actually, I guess, to a degree, some sense of truth to the statement that Epic wasn't actually fulfilling things. Now, the problem here... this is so silly looking. Now, the problem here is that they were making their own... I guess they were saying, or whatever, they were making their own engine. We're like, okay, we're done with Unreal 3. It's not delivering. We're making our own engine thing. But I guess their engine was basically just a fork of Unreal Engine. So they were essentially stealing... Well, they did. They basically stole Epic's like Unreal Engine 3 technology and kind of forked it to make this game and I guess there was X-Men, was it Destinies or something like that? And as part of the court ruling, because they, like, I think they might have actually had a chance of winning had they not stolen an engine like they shouldn't have. But, like, yeah, basically they were ordered by the judge to withdraw, like, pay stores to take back every version of this game and that X-Men game, and to destroy them. And they weren't allowed to sell it digitally anymore. So basically, that sunk the studio. Killed the studio, right? Because, like, financially, it's like, whoa! And then it killed the franchise, because this was supposed to be, like I said, it was supposed to be a trilogy of games. And to me, that's a huge bummer, because I actually kind of liked this back in the day. And I'm super bummed out that we, this game, like, I don't know if I should spoil things to a degree. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but, like, it hangs you, like, really, really hardcore. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where something cliffhangs you, like, really, really badly. And, yeah, this one just has, like, a nasty kind of cliffhanger in terms of how everything kind of concludes. So it's like, it's a major bummer how this one kind of goes. Because, like I said, there's supposed to be a whole, like, a trilogy of games. It would have been a really cool, I think, franchise. And then, like, the Norse mythology element of it. I don't know if this game even, like, really necessarily sold well enough to become that kind of thing anyways. I don't know. It's hard to... I have to look into those kind of things. But, yeah, just kind of a major bummer that everything in this kind of ended up as it did. If that makes sense. Because it's kind of a cool action, like, role-playing kind of game. It's got some neat vibes to it. It's got some neat combat to it. The, like, co-op aspects of it were kind of neat. And I sort of liked what this game was. And then, yeah, you kind of do the story, and it just kind of doesn't pan out. You know, I don't remember all the fine-tuned elements of the narrative at this point. You gotta remember, like, it's been, like, a long time. I just remember it was a pretty savagely bad, like, cliffhanging moment where I was like, are you kidding me? And that was a long time ago back in the day when I finished that. But yeah, it's just something that's like, I still think about this game from time to time, and I'm like, wow, I would have really liked to have seen, I think, the full trilogy and the full, like, scope of what they were trying to accomplish with this game. Oh, I got a new achievement? That is funny. Okay, we're gonna have to take a look at that, because I think it's been a long time since I've earned a new achievement in this game. Which is kind of hilarious. So yeah, a bit of a bummer at that this one never really became a trilogy like it was supposed to, and it's just kind of like one random game that legally they cannot sell, which is why they give it free as just like a backwards compatible kind of thing, like just a nice little perk of the Xbox platform. But I mean, like, what else are you gonna do with this game, right? It's something you own, you're trying to add more value to your platform through, like, you know, backwards compatibility. It's just a nice game to just offer to people, I guess you would say. I mean, it's kind of a dumb concept, but, you know, it's added value to your ecosystem, I guess, and that's kind of the way they looked at it. It would be really cool if Xbox could, I guess you would say, like, maybe chat with Epic in regards to, like, making this, like, furtherly available, or, like, remastering this would be pretty cool. Because I think there's actually, like, a pretty neat game under here. I'd love to see this sort of resurrected. And I know the controls and everything like that, and there's all these problems. 2008 was the last time I got an achievement for this. Holy crap, how long is that? 12, 16 years? Oh my god, I'm so old. Wow, it's like 16 years? Really? That's... Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna try not to think about the fact that it's been 16 years. Wow. That's a long time. So anyways, like I was saying, it would be really neat if they could, because I don't know, like, I'm sure Epic doesn't really have a bone to pick. They killed the studio. You know, like, the company's gone. And I'm sure they got their payback of whatever at this point. I don't know, it would just be kind of neat if they could do a lazy remaster and just Like, I don't know if anybody would be really interested in this either, too, right? Because it'd be cool if this was available in more places and stuff. Because it's just essentially, this game will just be forgotten, right? Like, you get what I mean? Like, it's just going to be a completely forgotten game. Because it's stuck here on this platform. And eventually no one will know about it. And you can't buy it anymore. Well, I mean, you can buy it for free, right? But it's not a product they sell, so eventually they'll just vanish it, right? And you can't get it anywhere else, and it's just kind of a digital thing, and, you know, the physical copies were all ordered to be destroyed, and it's just really, really quite fascinating. So from, like, just a quick story thing, you're a cybernetic god, Baldur. You're thrust in the midst of an ongoing battle that threatens the existence of mankind. Ancient machine presence has forced the hands of the gods, and now Baldur's charged with defending humanity from the onslaught of monstrous war machines. They're trying to destroy humanity. And, yeah, those are the kind of stakes here. And you have, like, skill trees, and you have different, like, ability things, and there's lots of enemies to kill and fight, and it's got, like, a gnarly style to it, and seemingly it's kind of difficult. I think this is what people complained about back in the days, like, kind of cumbersome controls. It had some, like, problems and stuff. And it wasn't a really great looking game for its time either, if that makes sense. So, like, yeah, there was a lot of negativity kind of following this game towards its release. Which I think is such a shame, because I actually kind of, to a degree, I like this game. I have somewhat fond memories of playing this back in the day. I can't sit here and be like, oh, this game is like a, you know, forgotten masterpiece or something like that, because I'm not sure that's really the way to quantify it. But I remember having fun with it. I remember playing through it. I remember blasting stuff and leveling and having a decent time and exploring and, you know, doing the story stuff with others and interacting with people in this one, and finding it to be kind of a neat, different kind of game. Something that really did feel truly distinct and different. And I'm sure it's probably aged even worse than, like, the opinions people had on it back in the day when it came out. But it's free, and if it looks kind of neat, you can check it out. And like I said, it's not like it's free to play or anything like that. It's just free. Nothing costs you anything in this game because they literally legally can't sell it to you. So you can just download this and just have fun with it. It's a free, full, I think at the time the idea was it was a AAA game, and you just enjoy it for no cost at all. And it's like a neat little slice of gaming history, and it was like basically the start of the death of Silicon Knights, because I guess instead of just kind of taking the L on the release of this one, how everything turned out, they decided to go after Epic, and Epic won, and I would say deservingly, right? Because they stole the engine in order to make their own kind of thing on it, and yeah, you can't do that, obviously. I mean, you're not allowed to. I do think from the element of, like, they were, like, literally ordered to, like, destroy all their code and stuff, too. I think that really shouldn't have happened. Maybe that code should have been forfeited to, like, Epic or something like that, but the idea that they had to destroy their code in this game is essentially, like, yeah, I guess you wouldn't really be able to remaster it then, right? If it's actually, like, destroyed? That would be way too much work for this thing. But yeah, it's like they basically, Epic was given the full right to just destroy a part of gaming history. And that, I don't think, really sits well with me. Because I don't, like, it's art, right? Like, you wouldn't, I don't know how to describe it, like, you wouldn't have somebody, like, destroy their art or something like that, and I can get the idea of, like, forfeiting maybe the code and stuff, because it's, you know, stolen that, but, or stolen assets and whatnot. Well, not stolen assets, but, you know, stolen engine technology, but yeah, they literally just vaporized this game from existence for, you know, well, for, like, to a degree, like, again, you know, there's reasons behind it. They won in court, blow it black, totally get that. But it would have been more neat if there was, like, a different way they could have went about dealing with this game. Like, I guess it's the idea is that they set a, you know, a state of, like, hey, you steal our engine tech, we're gonna you know, go after you and destroy your game entirely. You know, like you're not supposed to do that. But there's an element to it where it's just kind of like, I wish they would have maybe just taken like heavy royalties or something. Like I feel like there would have been better ways to kind of go about doing that sort of thing. Because I have actually like renewed my look into this game recently for whatever reason. That's also why we're checking it out today. Because it's something I was like, oh, it'd be fun to like take a look at this throat slicer. Well, you sound dangerous. And yeah, you, like, okay, so it's really weird on this too for the controls. I see that's why people think the controls are a little weird. Is like you use the right stick to kind of like stab, and then you kind of shoot your guns with the other thing. And there's different skill set things, and if you're a two-human fanatic and you're watching, being like, this guy's doing it all wrong, just keep in mind, again, the last achievement I got in this was 16 years ago. 16 years? 16 years. And yeah, so I'm not really, like, set up properly for this, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really remember a whole lot of what I was doing or where I'm going or what's happening in this. I just kind of go off of the, you know, what I recall from back in the day. But it's, to me, it's kind of a neat game. It's neat for the story behind it. It's neat for the gameplay and the mechanics they were going for. And I'm just like, we really never got any sort of, I guess you would say, closure to my knowledge. So, like, you never really know what happens. It's just kind of like one of those stories of history that just is completely forgotten entirely. Like, we'll never know what the actual overall arc or anything was. We'll never know what the focus was or where they were going with it. It's just kind of a game where it just exists for now. Probably won't forever, which is why I'm saying you should grab it for free and see if you like it, just so that you do have some sense of ownership over it, I guess. And then maybe check it out and be as confused and maybe intrigued as I kind of was back in the day. Oh no! So yeah, kind of a cool experience. Kind of different. Kind of interesting. Like, it really does have sort of vibes of the time too, right? In terms of like combat and style. I can't believe it took me that long to get an achievement in this, like for 100 kind of kill combo thing. Wonder if I got carried pretty hard by like co-op people back in the day. It's like I said, it's really hard to genuinely remember, because I think even to a degree I forgot about this game to some sense over the years, aside from doing video stuff on it. But you know, until I was revisiting it, I was like, oh yeah, Too Human. I don't know. It's just nice that this game is playable for some time, and I can do footage of it, and I can share the experience of it, and maybe encourage some other people to take a look at it and just kind of see what, you know, Silicon Knights had to offer. Because they made some neat games, but yeah, you can definitely tell. Why is this so difficult? You can definitely tell that this game isn't, it isn't perfect. Like, it definitely still, even now, I can kind of be like, I probably would have been pretty hard on this back in the day. You know, had I not been younger, if that makes sense. Like, obviously I played this in a more youthful kind of era or whatever, you know, and now I'm older, I probably would have been a little bit more brutal. But it would be to the times, like, it's possible to say, right? Because that's just how time and aging and stuff works, is how you would look at something at one point, maybe you would look at it differently another point. And yeah, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Look at you just standing there waiting to get shot. Aw. Bounty increase. I like the world and the style of it. I can't help but feel, though, like I was saying earlier, the cyberpunk approach would have almost been more interesting to me. Like, I think you could have... Oh, what was that? I think you could have really nailed this as a cyberpunk type thing. I wonder why they did the twist into... I guess you would say, like, the Norse mythology. Like, I wonder why that sort of, like, aspect was implemented to this, as opposed to just, you know, kind of going in the direction of, like, I don't know, the cyberpunk type thing. Like, imagine this was a futuristic cyberpunk. I bet you, if this game was a futuristic cyberpunk type game, it would have been something of, like, a real intense intrigue. Because I'm assuming most of you that are probably watching this have never even heard of this game. You don't even know what it is. You don't know what it does. But it's kind of a cool experience, and hopefully one that you are motivated to try at least, because like I said, it's free.